yine önemli bir aktarımla devam edeceğiz. 150 yıllık bir firma, hepimizin çok yakından tanıdığı ve aslında mobilite anlamında bizde ve dünyada çığır açan bir firma. Ama aslında yatırımı altyapıya. Neden diyeceksiniz? Bluetooth. Hepimizin çok kullandığı bir sistem. Bluetooth'un 5G'ye gelene kadar tüm teknolojik altyapısını, başlangıcını, gelişimini sağlayan bir firmadan bahsediyorum. Videomuz var. Önce izleyelim. Sonra ne demek istediğimi ve tüm bu gelişimi kendisinden dinleyeceğiz. Davet ettiğim önemli isimden.
It started with a belief, and together we made it possible. But it wouldn't have been without imagination. The curiosity that drives every pioneer and out-of-the-box thinker. To move beyond this and imagine this. To not just invent the technology, but lead the whole mobile evolution. Imagine if we take it all the way to space. What if you had an idea that could change the world? Like this programming language we invented that changed the whole digital landscape. Or imagine having many ideas, like these people. All it needs is some help to come alive and scale. Or lots of help, like our global incubator. Because what if the impossible isn't, and the unimaginable is? So let's go bold and get real. Let's accelerate the global rollout of 5G and make it accessible everywhere, not stopping until every school is connected. Let's unleash the potential of connectivity to reduce global emissions. Imagine not just reaching net zero by 2040, but getting there ahead of time. By including and connecting a diversity of perspectives, we help you, and you deliver a better world. A world where interconnected devices will unlock new levels of intelligence, and where everyone has the power to realize their imagination. Just imagine what we could achieve together.
Evet efendim, Ericsson Teknoloji'den sorumlu Avrupa, Orta Doğu, Afrika Bölgesi Başkan Yardımcısı Sayın Hanna Maurer-Sibley'i davet ediyorum alkışlarınızla. 5G'den 6G'ye ama 5G'ye kadar gelen süreçte tüm altyapı, Bluetooth teknolojisi ve gelişimi kendisinden dinleyeceğiz. I would like to say welcome to our program and to the stage.
Thank
the
you.
stage is yours.
Thank you so much. So, thanks for having me. My name is Hanna. I'm based in Stockholm and I work for Ericsson. It's fantastic to be here in Turkey. First time in Ankara, I must admit, and to have to meet all of you and talk about AI. AI today and AI tomorrow. So, where are we in the telecom industry? How is AI going to impact the telecom industry, and what values do we see that it can bring? So those things I hope that I can answer for you during these 15 minutes of fame before you have another speech and then eventually lunch. So let's see. The previous speaker talked a lot about the AI technology, how it's connected to data center, and also to the edge compute. We like to think of this new paradigm as a triangle, if you want to. It has three things. AI, obviously, we're here today with the summit, of course. AI, you can't have a technology discussion today without talking about AI. AI is there, it will stay, it will evolve. We also have cloud. Today, most of your AI workloads, almost all of them, are computed and done in the cloud. So AI and cloud, they are two fundamental technology aspects. And how do they connect? Through the networks, right? So there is no AI if you don't have the cloud, and there is no AI and cloud if you don't have the networks that connect them. So this is a paradigm where, of course, Ericsson, as a very old technology company, it's a telco company. We turn 150 years today, this year. I haven't been there that long, obviously, but we've been here in Turkey since 1890. So we, of course, foresee that these technology shifts will be here, and we are preparing the networks so that your AI workloads can run on these networks with great user experience. That's the mission. So how will this work then? Well, it won't come without work. Any big technology shift includes challenges, right? So we have on the screen here, we have some shaping trends for telecom. Some things that we in this industry have to take care of and have to solve together. So the AI workloads will, of course, increase the traffic. But the traffic is not the same type of traffic. It's not the same if you're sitting with your smartphone, downloading or watching a video, as when you take out your brand new AI glasses that has, maybe even some inference in the glasses. Otherwise, you're connecting to your cloud, and you're asking your agent, AI glasses, what am I looking at? Where is the nearest store? Where's the nearest bus stop? Guide me here, do this. Tell me what I'm looking at. Upload this video. And then analyze it and tell me who was there. That type of traffic is not the same as we see on the networks today. It's demanding of the networks. And the previous speaker, he talked about how this change will get paid for. And I'll come back to that, but it is an important discussion to have. So when you put on your AI glasses or your AR headsets, or when the robots in the factories are taking all this important video feeds of the manufacturing floors or broken train carts, whatever it can be, it has demands on the network. It needs a lot of uplink, as we used to say in the radio access technology. It needs uplink, it needs to be able to upload. And then, of course, we need to have inference and we need to have compute to do all these analysis of this traffic. That's a big requirement on the network that needs to be adopted towards. Then these stacks, the telco stacks today, are very trusted. Do we have any operators in the crowd? No operators? Fixed operators? No? The telco stacks today are very trusted. When I checked into the hotel here, when I put my credit card on the little desk there, I put in the PIN code, it took literally half a second. And I got a text. Your credit card is not being used. This much money was taken from your credit card. Call this number if this wasn't you. Great, right? It's a new technology. We don't think about it so much all the time. And this is what we call authentication. It's not silent authentication. It's actually something that talks to me. But you know, as part of the telco industry, that the telco stacks are very trusted. These type of financial institutions, they would not come to you or to us and ask for these solutions unless these stacks were very, very trusted. So this is something that needs to continue. It needs to be evolved, and it will. So we talked about the paradigm and that this will shift. So in Ericsson, we have a saying that we build networks for AI, which means that we adapt our solutions, our hardware and our software that we sell and our services so that these networks are ready for this multimodal type of traffic. Multimodal is when you have multitudes of streams of services, like you maybe talk to your goggles or your glasses or something, and you have voice connected with video. And they have different demands on the network. You need to have short response time, it needs to be secured, and it also needs to be reliant. It can't be, right, that you walk around and you have these services and suddenly everything flickers and you don't have connectivity anymore. Remember the little, wait for download kind of symbol you had on your smartphones? This will be extremely unsatisfactory to any kind of service, to us as end users, but also to agents that are interacting with these networks in the future. So the networks needs to be prepared. And there are, of course, some challenges on the side here that I put behind me on how this is going to be solved. But with every challenge, there is an opportunity. I know it's kind of a cliche, it's been said many, many times, but it's true. With any disruption, with any type of new technology challenge that comes, there is also a place to innovate and to grab some value. The previous speaker here was up talking about how will AI get paid for, and I don't think we as an industry have that figured out yet, but there are at least some really, really good tools in the telco stack that is already there that can be used. And what we call then is, we call it differentiated connectivity. So the robotics, I thought there was a robotics here on the stage also, but a robotic that has a very critical service to deliver, that type of service will probably be more expensive to run on the network than for my kids to download or watch YouTube. So how these networks are going to be used will also be there and be shown in the service layer. The service layer will be evolved, and we would say, if you want this type of service, differentiated connectivity, here is how that will be sold, and here is how you know that what you paid for was actually delivered. So it goes both ways, right? If we want to sell the differentiated service, we also want to be able to show that what you actually received and paid for was exactly what you had in mind. So that's the new era of telecom. And I mentioned the networks for AI. That's what I've said so far. We in the telco business will build networks that can run the AI workloads. But we, of course, also use AI inside the networks. You can't find a software developer today that doesn't use AI when it comes to coding, when it comes to checking code, when it comes to testing of code, when it comes to co-buddying, co-create. It's all over the place in the software industry. So this is, of course, something that we use in our company. We also use AI chip preparedness inside our hardware. And for you who haven't been to the Ericsson booth, a little further down, you can go down and look at one of them. We call them basebands. If you don't know exactly how the telco stack is developed, you can see it as a unique server that Ericsson actually builds and we manufacture here in Turkey. So those basebands, big type of server, they're not that big, server blades, they have AI inference inside already. So it's good for you to know that just because we talk about hyperscalers and Googles and Mistrals and all the big AI companies, and you see them run on predominantly hyperscalers today, it doesn't mean that AI inference is already entered the telecom stacks. It has in our products, and we're very proud of that. And we're very proud to be able to actually manufacture it also here. So this will spread, right? AI inside software, AI chip, and inference capability in hardware will be there, and we will be ready for this shift. So the use cases we talked a little bit about. What's important here on this slide is actually standalone. And I must congratulate Turkey for probably being the fastest country that I have ever seen to launch 5G standalone. 5G standalone means that you don't need a leg back in 4G to create the connectivity. You can use all the signaling in the 5G domain. And this was an extremely important shift, I must say. So congratulations on this. If you run a 5G standalone network, you have a much easier and autonomous way to implement differentiated services in the network. And you see here, for example, the physical AI, we talked about the robotics. We should not forget how these networks are now also being used in public safety domain. We have a little demonstration down in our booth, and there are numerous examples on how, for example, first responders, border control, police, and other types of security services are using the 5G networks, the 5G standalone networks today. They can do this because they can have their own VIP lane, their own differentiated connectivity within the public 5G standalone network, and the operators can then serve them and support them with the SLAs that they have actually paid for. So this is a huge shift where the 5G networks are not just being serving us as smartphones. It's actually now also serving agents, robots, policemen, firefighters, hospitals, industries, manufacturing, and so forth. So it's good to keep that in mind. Now, regulation. We need regulation. We definitely need to think about AI regulation. And it was discussed also here on stage a little bit earlier this morning, I believe. And there is the EU AI Act, and Ericsson is, of course, analyzing this. We belong in Sweden, so obviously we are a company that would adhere to these laws. And we believe that an AI regulation is sound as long as it's risk-based and innovation-friendly. Now, the actual EU AI Act is quite comprehensive, and now there is an activity ongoing to try to exemplify and maybe simplify a little bit of what this would bring. But I think what this would mean to both the telco stack, but to any type of business, any industry in Europe, right? So we're constantly looking at this and adhering to this, obviously, looking for some simplifications and some examples so that we, as a front runner in the telco industry, can actually adhere to this properly. But I think we can all agree, right? We want AI to help humanity. We don't want the other way around. We don't want this to be something that destroys us. We want this to be something that is overall positive to the humankind and to our environment. And I think that was very well said also this morning. So I will leave you with this, where AI has actually already been launched, you can say. You use it in your daily consumptions on your smartphones. We use it in our software and in our hardware already deployed. And here you can see some of our customers are using it. I believe there's a panel later with some representatives from Singapore. Singapore is a great front runner when it comes to 5G standalone and differentiated services. And here they've actually tested one of our software features where we have used AI inside our equipment to analyze the data that comes in and then changed our algorithms in the field so that we can get a little bit more megabit per second out there in these radio frequencies that are so valuable for us. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention.
We thank you for your participation in this very important speech. Thank you very much. Please join me in front of the stage so we can have a plaque ceremony.
Oh, okay.
So I would like to invite Mr. Zafer Küçük Şabanoğlu, the president of AIPAI. Hoş geldiniz efendim. Plaketimiz de geliyor.
Hey.
Plaketimizi takdim
Sure,
edelim.
of course. Thanks for having me.
Sayın Hanna Maurer-Sibley, Ericsson Teknoloji'den sorumlu Avrupa, Orta Doğu, Afrika Bölge Başkan Yardımcısı bizimle beraberdi. Ve hem biraz altyapıdan bahsettik, hem 5G teknolojisi, hem Bluetooth teknolojisi yine önemli bir keynote speech'ti.